Today on Community Cooking, we have guest chef and food blogger Veronica Hendricks in our kitchen cooking up an amazing meal. We're making a Tarragon Panko Salmon with mustard green sauté and grilled corn. We are cooking with some of the best chefs from right here in our own community. So grab a seat, get comfortable. We've got another great menu for you. This is your Community Cooking. Hello and welcome to Community Cooking. I am your host, Kirk Lines. In our kitchen today is Veronica Hendricks. Hi, Veronica.
Hi.
How are you?
I am good.
Good, good. Now Veronica, you have a history, or an interesting food history, let's say. You are a blogger.
Yes, I am.
Primarily.
Yes.
But you also have some experience on cooking contest shows.
Yes, I had the privilege of being on the Food Network. I was a contestant on a show called Clash of the Grandmas. I have a 4-year-old grandson, so that kind of got me into the show. But it was a lot of fun. It was challenging. I learned a lot about myself. It was really cool.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, you know, I've never been on a contest show like that. It's got to be a little nerve-wracking.
It's extremely intense. You have minutes to think about what you're going to cook after they give you the challenge, and you have to do it on the spot.
Right. So what you're seeing on TV in terms of that sort of last minute, like, here's what's going on and then get to it and this is your time frame, that's legit.
It is legit. And what really helped me is the fact that I'm a pantry cook.
Okay.
Being a pantry cook is a great asset on these shows.
I've talked about that on this show before. You're absolutely right. I get where you're going with this because you're used to going into your pantry and going, I've got this, that's in the fridge, I'll make that.
Exactly.
And that's basically what they're asking you to do.
Exactly.
How'd you do?
I did really well. I came in runner-up, but it was a great show, a great challenge for me, and I'm really
not bad.
I think so too. I'm really proud of what I did on the show.
Yeah, good for you. Well, the good news for you is this is going to be a lot less stressful.
Yay!
I'm not going to put you through that. We know what you're making. We've got it all stepped out here, and we're just going to talk about food.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, so you've got a lovely meal that you've brought for us today. We've got a Tarragon Panko crusted salmon.
Yes.
Which sounds delicious. Tarragon's one of my faves, and I think
Mine
it's highly
too.
underused.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And then you're going to show us all how to do a proper sauté green, grilled corn.
Yes.
Right, because you have roots from the South.
Yes, I do.
So you know your way around some sauté greens.
I know my way around greens, whether they're sautéed, whether they're simmered all day, whether they're eaten raw. I know my way around greens. I love them.
We'll talk about all of that today, so don't go anywhere. Okay, let's first talk about this salmon dish, though. Let's run me through the ingredients that you've brought to make this.
Okay, I've got a 2-pound piece of salmon, approximately 2 pounds, because this recipe will coat about 2 pounds. A lot of times I'll double it and put it in the refrigerator and save it. But I've got a cup of panko crumbs. I've got 2 tablespoons of dry mustard, a tablespoon of garlic powder, a tablespoon of tarragon, dry tarragon. This is a teaspoon of salt. I use pink Himalayan salt. Okay. And then a teaspoon of sugar.
Great. Well, a couple questions here. First off, skin on the salmon? I can't tell.
It is skinless.
Skinless.
Skinless salmon.
So that's something that you can either skin yourself or have your fishmonger do
Exactly.
that.
And if you want to leave the skin on, you can.
Yeah, you can because you're going to bake this in the oven,
I'm going to bake it.
So by the time you're done, I'm imagining it's going to come right off the skin.
Oh, it will. It will.
Now, it's not going to be the type of skin that you're going to want to eat because it won't be crispy.
Correct, correct.
But
and that's why I take it off.
Right, so why bother?
Exactly.
Right, okay. And then panko, just a nicer breadcrumb than your regular breadcrumb. It's lighter, going to get crispier.
Exactly.
Talk to me about the sugar, though. I get all this. I get all this. And I think I know where you're going, but you tell me, what's up with that?
Well, dried herbs can be a little bitter.
Okay, yeah.
So the sugar will help to take away a little bit of the bitterness. But it also helps with the caramelization of the topping.
Okay, it's going to give it a little bit, it's got that nice color and crispiness, too.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay, yeah, great. All right, well, why don't you show us what to do here? What's our first step?
Well, let's get started. So we're going to take that panko, if you can pass me that.
Okay.
And we're going to dump it in a bowl. And then we're going to take all of our seasonings, as we talked about earlier.
All right.
And we're going to put them all in here.
Everybody in the pool.
Everybody in the pool.
And I mean, one thing that we should say here, I mean, you could probably add to this, subtract to this. If you're not a tarragon fan, replace it with some dill or some dried basil or whatever
Anything.
You want, direction you want to go.
Any direction you want. This recipe can be modified and you can put whatever herb. If you want to get crazy, put some mint in there.
Okay, yeah, right?
Yeah.
And, I mean, okay, hold on a second. Now you got me going here. So what if we put a little bit of mint in there, and we had a little, like a sauce of like some yogurt with a little bit of citrus and cucumber, or like a tzatziki, that sort of Mediterranean.
Yeah, you can take it there too.
That sounds good.
Yeah, so
I
this
like
is a great base and a great foundation. So you just mix everything up, get it well mixed, and then you'll take about a tablespoon of olive oil, drizzle it over.
Okay.
And we're just going to mix this up really well.
Okay, so almost kind of that you need it to be able to adhere.
Exactly.
Okay.
To kind of help bind it together a little bit.
And then also once again help with the color as well.
Exactly. It helps it to crisp up. So we're just going to stir this and get it fairly mixed.
Okay. Now, talk to me a little bit about your food blog. What do you do with your food blog?
My blog it's called Collard Greens and Caviar, and what I do is I talk about the range in which we live life and love food.
Okay.
And the focus is on food. So I tell food stories from the perspective of everyday people, celebrity types, my own experience with cooking. And what I try and do is present menus and recipes that are easy and approachable to make.
Okay.
Because food can be fussy.
Yeah.
And when you've got minutes at the end of the evening, you want food you can get on the table pretty quickly without a lot of fuss. So what I do is I try and present recipes that are really easy to follow. And once you make the recipe and you see the picture, I want what you make to resemble what I've actually displayed.
So sort of demystifying the process a little bit, and definitely gearing it towards people who might be a little bit more trepidatious about getting into the kitchen and doing something like, yeah, you can do this.
Exactly.
I
want to be your cheerleader.
I love that. You know, it's funny because I think that there's so much in food TV, food social media, all of that has just like grown leaps and bounds within the last decade, right?
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of stuff out there. And you know, a lot of it can be very divisive. You know, I think we've gotten to a point where, you know, when food shows started out when cookbooks started out, it was about like make this. Now it's about like I can make this, can you?
Exactly.
And I think that, you know, when you're talking about someone who's not inclined and doesn't have that proclivity to get in the kitchen to start off with, that is a really divisive thing.
It is, and it can be daunting. I coach a few people in the kitchen. I have friends that I've coached and other people have asked me. And sometimes they're even afraid to go into a market and pick simple ingredients.
Absolutely. I mean, or ask questions like, I'm going to feel stupid.
Exactly. There are no stupid questions.
No. And you know what? There's a couple of things. First off, it's like people who do their job well love answering those questions because not enough people ask them, first off. And second of all, if anyone tries to make you feel stupid for asking that question, you're shopping at the wrong market.
Exactly.
You know, you gotta be somewhere where they are willing to embrace that and walk you through it. A good fishmonger should tell you exactly how to cook that piece of fish.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
A good produce man should be able to go, that's a good melon. Eat that. You know, and if they can't do that or show you how they pick that.
Exactly. And you know, some markets will even give you suggestions on what you can make with the ingredients that you might be selecting.
Right.
That's pretty cool too.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on this. I mean, you're definitely preaching to the choir. I think that's great that you're doing that because it's such a beautiful thing, and we are lucky enough to live in a country that has so much at our disposal between what grows here and what we can procure in stores or on the internet. You know, we can make anything.
Anything.
Great. And this is pretty much one of those types of recipes, huh?
It's so simple and it's so easy.
We're talking a series of spices and herbs that you've put into some, at the end of the day here, into some panko with some olive oil. And are we just going to crust this?
We're just going to crust that. So if you could, in fact, we'll crust it on the pan.
Okay.
So pass me that pan.
Absolutely. And I should point out that you have lightly greased that.
Exactly.
Okay, because you don't want this, we don't have the skin, so we don't want it sticking to the bottom.
Exactly. So we're going to put this
and then I'm going to grab
lovely piece of salmon here.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to coat it with just a little bit of olive oil that we have left over.
And this is going to feed a family, no problem.
No problem.
You know, and maybe even leftovers.
Yes. And it depends. If you have sons who eat a lot, you know, larger young men that eat a lot.
Yeah.
Or
you know, and the thing is too though is I'm not the biggest fan of leftover fish except for salmon.
Exactly.
Salmon's one that you can actually get away with, you know, because you can eat it cold.
You can.
You can eat it cold or at room temperature and not have to heat it back up and make all your coworkers really upset that you just made the office smell like fish.
So I'm going to lightly pat this on, and I've got a little left in the bowl, and I'll go ahead and put that on here as well.
Be beautiful, and you can really see how, like the addition of the olive oil, it's going to give it what the moisture it needs to really bring some color out.
Exactly. All right, put the rest of that on there.
That is great. You make this dish for yourself, for your family?
For myself, for my family, for my friends, special events. I'm always cooking for the family, and they always want me to make. In fact, my sons, my 2 adult sons, this is their favorite dish.
Well, you know, and what's funny is that you know, here you are talking about demystifying cooking, and you brought something that a lot of people are scared to cook, and that's fish.
Yes.
I get asked that question more often than any other in terms of like how do you cook fish? You know, and of course that's a humongous answer because there's so many different types of fish. But what you're doing here is really smart. Do you need a paper towel for your hands?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And I think
awesome. Here you go. So the thing is that what you're doing here is you're utilizing your oven as your sous chef.
Exactly. You know, I never thought about it that way.
Because this is going to go in there, and how long are we going to cook that for?
About 20 minutes
20,
or so.
25 minutes, somewhere in there, right?
20, 25 minutes, yeah.
Okay, well, in that time, I can do a lot in 25 minutes.
Yes, you can.
I can make a salad, I can make a side dish, I can do all sorts of things. Meanwhile, you're not sitting over a pan, over a hot stove, figuring out if I've overcooked this or not.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Great. So into the oven it goes?
Into the oven it goes.
How hot?
375.
And then, like we said, for about 25 minutes. Okay. All right. And ladies and gentlemen, that is literally it.
That's it. Voila.
All right. Well, I tell you what, and look at, I was going to say we should clean up because we always clean up in between segments. There's not much to clean up here.
Not much at all.
And you know what? People love that.
They do.
People love that. Well, we'll tidy up, let's say that. Take a little break, and then we'll come back, and you're going to show us how to make some greens and grilled corn.
Yes, we will.
Awesome. Don't go away.
Whether you need a hand shopping for groceries, using up scraps, or finishing every bite, Meal Prep Mate can help you plan better and save more. Whether you're a newbie getting your first taste, a meal prepper honing your chops, or a meal prep pro hungry for a challenge, you can learn how to eat smarter, plan better, and save more at every step of meal prep. When you finish every bite, you save. Start prepping with Meal Prep Mate at SaveTheFood.com.
Welcome back. I am here with Veronica Hendricks, and our meal is underway.
Yes, it's well underway.
Right, we've got our salmon, our Tarragon Panko crusted salmon in the oven.
Say that 10 times.
I know, right? There's a lot there. But it's already starting to get fragrant, which it smells great. And now we're going to do some greens.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, greens and some corn.
Yes,
some grilled corn.
We grill the corn, and the corn is added at the end of the greens. So it's a grilled.
It's kind of nice.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. Giving it a little bit of a texture.
Yes.
A little bit of a crunch.
Yes.
Okay. And the greens that you've chosen for today are mustard greens.
Mustard greens.
Okay. And now describe the difference between mustard greens and, let's say, a collard green or a kale, what a lot of people are used to.
Yeah, mustard greens, of course, they're lighter, thinner, but they have this peppery taste that I really like. They're very fragrant. They cook pretty quickly, and I grew up with Southern parents, and we ate a lot of greens.
Well,
and these were my mom's favorite greens.
I love it. And so, but at the same time, so if we wanted to substitute for another green, this would not be a problem with this recipe.
Not at all. I've made this recipe with collard greens, which are a little bit more heartier.
Got to cook them longer.
Got to cook them longer, but you know what? I don't mind having that little bit of a bite in a green.
I'm okay with that too.
Yeah.
But try serving that to someone from the South. They're going to look at you like you're nuts.
Oh my God.
I'm with you on that. I like my collard greens with a little bit of texture.
Yes.
But you do that to the wrong crowd, and it's like you're labeled a bad chef.
Yeah.
Because in the South, they're cooking those things between 2 and 3 hours.
Yeah, but there's a movement to change that. I mean, I have relatives who live in the South, and it's slowly being introduced. People are learning how to eat greens a different way.
Right. I mean, and especially if you're not using like the woody stem, or it's not like too leathery. I mean, if it's got a little bit of texture to it, why not?
Exactly.
Right. But no, I'm with you on this. It's much more delicate, and it has that peppery sort of bite to it.
Yeah, I
very
love that.
enjoyable.
Yeah.
All right. And what do we have here in terms of these players here?
Well, We're going to season our greens, not with the typical fat that we
Okay.
use, like, you know, bacon or, you know, ham
Smoked
hock.
ham hock, right.
What we're going to use to season our greens is something very simple. We're going to use a little olive oil. We're going to use a little sesame seed oil, and then a little butter.
Okay. And then we have some more of the Himalayan salt.
Himalayan salt, and then cracked pepper and garlic.
Right, right. And then some sugar as well.
The sugar is very important because greens can be a little bitter.
Right. Now, do you put, you don't do any vinegar in your greens?
No vinegar.
Not even to finish or anything like that?
Well, no, if you want to finish them on your own, you can, but you'll see once it all comes together how delightful it is.
Because you go to, like, I mean, you know, you in the South, it's like everybody's table has that bottle of vinegar with the chilies in it, right? You know which one I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
With the tiny green chilies floating in there, and the vinegar is real spicy, peppery, and to finish, oh my gosh, I'm salivating just talking about that. All right, where are we starting?
Okay, we're going to start with grilling the corn.
Okay, that makes
Let's get the corn grilled so that it's already done, so once we put the greens together, we can move pretty quickly.
Great.
So we're going to put a little grapeseed oil in this pan.
Okay.
Get the pan hot.
You like cooking with grapeseed?
I do, because I can use high temperatures and get a nice color. And while that's heating up, we can go ahead and cut an onion.
Okay.
So we just need half of an onion.
All right, and chopped?
Chopped.
Sort of a medium dice
Medium dice, yes.
You got it. I have your back on that.
All right, and while you're doing that, I'm going to take just a few of these greens and demonstrate how I would cut them.
Please do.
So I take off the stems. Take off a couple of these stems. Okay.
The woody parts.
The woody parts.
Right.
And a lot of people will roll them. Sometimes I roll them, but I'll just slice them in half and then just chop them like that.
There you go. And you know,
it's that simple.
They're now, I mean, you know, this part of your meal, very, very farmer's market friendly. I mean,
yes, it is.
The farmer's market's a great place to go for greens. Let's be honest about that, because you're talking a lot of times in the market, greens, because they're not quite as popular, will sit for a little bit, but the stuff you're getting at the farmer's market, just vibrant.
It is.
And of course the corn, you're not going to get any better corn than maybe a roadside stand or picking it off the stalk yourself.
Exactly.
At a farmer's market, and of course red onion. I mean, this is all farmer's market worthy.
Definitely. All right, so this corn is going to take a little bit of time to cook, so we'll let it do its thing. So to this pan, we're going to add some olive oil. Okay, so we're going to put about a tablespoon of olive oil in here, because we're going to saute those onions.
Okay.
Okay.
And with greens, you can never, I know it looks like we have a mess of greens here, but these are going to wilt down.
Absolutely.
So you can never really underestimate or overestimate, I guess, the amount of greens that you need. I mean, if you're going to go big.
That's what, and you know what, this is probably a little bit more than 6 cups. It's probably closer to 8, but you know what, like you said, it wilts down to literally nothing.
And once again, saves very well too.
It does.
So you can keep that in your fridge and then have that with dinner the next night.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I am never opposed to that.
All right.
I am never opposed.
All right, so we're going to get this oil heated up here a little bit. Get it going.
Okay.
All right, and then once, let's see, it should, hopefully it's hot enough.
A little bit of sesame oil.
A little sesame seed oil.
Okay, and then what I can do.
And then we're going to put this butter in here and let this get melted.
Tell you what, could you hand me the blue bowl that's right behind you, and I'll get these onions in there so I can pass them to you.
There you go.
So we're not doing it one at a time. All right, here we go.
See, that corn is starting to get a little
brown. Yeah, getting some nice color on that. That's beautiful.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and get this melted.
And I love that you chose white corn too. It's just so sweet, right?
It really is. And that's what's so cool about this recipe. You get that, you know, that peppery taste, you get a little bit of sweetness, and you get a little smokiness because of
texture.
The texture, and it's great. Okay, now this is melted.
Okay.
And we're going to add this onions in here, and we're going to get these onions cooking, and I'm going to turn this heat up just a little bit more. All right. So that's cooking.
All right. When do our seasonings come into play?
They come into play once we put the greens in. So
that they don't burn?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, because your garlic's diced really small here, so I would imagine that's going to, if it's too hot, it's going to burn.
Exactly. And we'll put the garlic in at the very end and just toss it around until it's fragrant. Okay?
Yeah, yeah.
This is cooking. Now, with the onions, I get them just a little dark.
Put a little bit of color on them, okay.
Just a little bit of color.
So not quite caramelized.
Not quite.
but also past what you would consider like sweating them.
Exactly.
Or making them
Exactly. And as you
translucent.
can see, they're getting a little bit of color. And we're getting really close.
And that's only going to bring out the sweetness even more, right?
Exactly. This corn is slowly making its way.
I love that. I love that. And you know what a pretty color combination too. That whitish yellow with the green.
And you know, that's one thing I try and do is to cook and make sure that there's lots of color, because color makes food very appealing.
Right.
If you have lots of different colors, you know, and textures, I seem to have more success in getting people to try things. Especially my girlfriends when they come over to visit.
Nobody wants gray food.
Nobody wants gray food.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is about where I want it, and
Okay.
I am going to turn this down just a little bit.
While you're doing that, I'm going to go check on the salmon real quick just
Okay,
to give it
cool.
a look-see. Oh, it looks great.
Does it? Oh,
yeah.
I can smell it.
I think you still have, you know what, the bigger end still needs to be cooked a little bit more.
And that happens a lot too. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and get this garlic in here.
Okay.
All right. As this corn makes its way slowly, I'm going to go ahead and get this in here. And just, you know, swish it around until it's just fragrant. And that's about it right there.
Once you smell the garlic, you're good.
You're good, because you
Right.
don't want it to brown because it becomes bitter.
But then when you add this, it's going to sort of slow down the cooking of
Exactly,
the garlic.
exactly.
And you're going to hear it, might hear it pop.
You hear it?
Yep. That's
Now
gonna
that's
pop.
music, right?
Right. The mustard green blues.
That is music right there. Yay.
And once again, it looks like she's crowded her pan here, but she has not.
No.
All she's got to do is lid that, and it's gonna shrink right down.
I don't want to lose a piece.
No.
One piece jumped out and I saved it.
No. High water content, and that's the popping that you
Yep.
hear when it hits the oil. And that's also what's sort of like leaching out as it starts to wilt.
Exactly.
There
so,
you go, look at that.
Yeah, there. Now it's starting to get a little color in there. All right. All right, so we're going to just stir these around.
Great.
They're going to start to wilt. They wilt pretty quickly. You can have this on the table pretty quickly. The longest thing is the corn. The corn does take a little while to brown up.
I mean, you want to get the color on it.
Yeah, I like a little color on my
And I mean,
corn.
what a super healthy meal too, right?
Very healthy.
This is really, really healthy. I mean, you know, you take away the breadcrumb and you're pretty much paleo, keto, you know.
All that.
All of that. But, you know, listen, a little panko breadcrumb never hurt anybody. Well, that's not true. People who have a gluten intolerance would not appreciate that.
We are going to add the salt. We're going to add the salt, the sugar, and we're going to add all of this.
Okay.
All of this goes in. Should have like a little...
I think you did just fine. Here, let me get that out of your way.
Ooh! And that's what happens with the corn, folks.
Yeah. They don't call it popcorn for nothing, right?
A little splatter screen would probably be helpful. So I'm going to go ahead and get this stirred. Combine all of the spices and the seasonings that I put in here. Oh, you got to stay in
And a little
there.
bit of sesame oil. What was the inspiration on that?
You know,
that's sort of like a little, out of all the ingredients, a little out of the blue.
I know. I love the taste of sesame oil, that kind of nuttiness, and it kind of, you know, mimics, I won't say bacon fat, but it has a kind of a smoky quality to it.
I understand. So you're looking for like roasted sesame oil, not the clear one, but the darker one.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right, that corn is going to be ready in a minute.
Excellent.
Okay.
Yeah, look at that. Look at how they just wilted down.
Wilted right down. And
Ba-boom.
Yep.
Like magic.
Yep. Get it nice and stirred. And the thing about this recipe, or greens in general, the longer they sit, the better they taste. Have you noticed that?
Oh yeah. They pick up everything.
They do.
Sure.
All right, so we're going to turn this down a little bit and cover it.
Okay.
Okay. And let that sit for just a little bit.
How close are we on the corn?
We are done with the corn. I'm gonna say the corn is done.
Okay.
And we need to let this corn cool off a little bit so we can cut it from the cob.
Well, so we're just going to slice it off, right?
That's right.
Perfect. Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we take a break and let our corn cool down a little bit, and we can take it off and finish our greens, and on the other side, make a couple of plates and eat.
Perfect.
Sound good?
We'll be ready.
All right.
All right.
Don't go away. Welcome back. I'm with Veronica Hendricks, and look, our meal.
Yay!
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful color on that salmon right there, and our greens, they look fantastic, and I am going to just start digging in.
There you go.
And this is meant to be served family style and done exactly this way, right?
Exactly. That's it.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All
And
right.
this will serve a fair amount of people. Like we talked about earlier, if you've got a family of 4.
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah, if you'd like to help yourself.
I will.
All right. That's how we do it at the table.
That's how we do it.
Grab one of these lemon wedges.
Go ahead.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. All right, I'm going to have at this.
All right, let me grab a little of those greens. Can you swing that spoon around?
I'm sorry. Oh my
You're
God.
too busy.
Oh, you know what?
What do you think?
The tarragon's awesome.
Isn't it? I love that tarragon.
The tarragon's awesome in it. I love that. And perfectly crunchy on those.
Those greens.
Right?
A little lemon on this.
Here, I got there we go. On a stowaway. Yeah.
What do you think?
I like the greens and I like that. I like the sesame oil on that. That is delicious. I love.
Awesome.
Do me a favor and promise me you're coming back.
Let me swallow first. I will come back.
Thank you. We would be glad to have you at any time. All right?
Thank you so much.
This just goes to show you we really are cooking with some of the best chefs from right here in our own community. On behalf of myself, everyone here at the show, Veronica, thank you for watching Community Cooking. Have a great day.
If you'd like a copy of the recipes seen on this show, send us a self-addressed stamped envelope to the Office of Cable and Community Relations. That's 3350 Civic Center Drive, Suite 200, in Torrance, California, 90503. Be sure to note the show number displayed on the screen. And don't forget you can find all the fresh ingredients used on today's show at the Farmers Market. Visit the one here in Torrance at Wilson Park. That's located at 2200 Crenshaw Boulevard. They're open every Tuesday and Saturday from 8 a.m. until 1 p.m., rain or shine. And if you'd like to be a guest on our show, email us at communitycooking@torranceca.gov and check us out online at youtube.com/TorranceCityCable and like us on Facebook at Community Cooking TV.